I noticed, as the song progressed, that a good many other people seemed to have their eye fixed on the two young men, as well as myself. These other people also tittered when the young men tittered, and roared when the young men roared, and exploded with laughter pretty continuously all through the song. It went exceedingly well, and yet that German professor did not seem happy. At first, when we began to laugh, the expression on his face was one of the intense surprise, as if laughter were the very last thing he had expected to be greeted with. We thought this very funny. We said his earnest manner was half the humor. The slightest hint on his part that he knew how funny he was would have completely ruined it. As we continued to laugh, his surprise gave way to an air of annoyance and indignation, and he scowled fiercely round upon us all, except upon the two young men who, being behind him, he could not see. That sent us into convulsions. We told each other that it would be the death of us, this thing. The words alone, we said, were enough to send us into fits. But added to his mock seriousness, oh, it was too much. In the last verse, he surpassed himself. He glowered round upon us with a look of such concentrated ferocity that, but for our being forewarned as to the German method of comic singing, we should have been nervous. And he threw such a wailing note of agony into the weird music that, if we had not known it was a funny song, we might have wept. He finished amid a perfect shriek of laughter. We said it was the funniest thing we had ever heard in all our lives. We said how strange it was that in the face of things like these, there should be a popular notion that the German had not any sense of humor. And we asked the professor why he didn't translate the song into English, so that the common people could understand it and hear what a real comic song was like. Then Herr got up and went on awful. He swore at us in German, which I should judge to be a singularly effective language for that purpose. And he danced and shook his fist and called us all the English he knew. He said he had never been so insulted in all his life. It appeared that the song was not a comic song at all. It was about a young girl who lived in the Harz mountains and who had given up her life to save her lover's soul. And he died and met her spirit in the air, and then in the last words, he jilted her spirit and went off with another spirit. I am not quite sure of the details, but it was something very sad, I know. Herr said he had sung it once before the German emperor, and he had sobbed like a little child. Herr said it was generally acknowledged to be one of the most tragic and pathetic songs in the German language. It was a trying situation for us. Very trying. There seemed to be no answer. We looked around for the young men who had done this thing, but they had left the house in an unostentatious manner immediately after the end of the song. That was the end of that party. I never saw a party break up so quietly with so little fuss. We never said good night even to one another. We came downstairs one at a time. walking softly and keeping the shady side. We asked the servants for our hats and coats in whispers, and opened the door for ourselves and slipped out, and got round the corner quickly, avoiding each other as much as possible. I have never taken much interest in German songs since then.